Hey everybody, Jamie from the Marine Doctor's YouTube channel, and if you've been following, you know that I've got 4 engines that I need to tear down to take into the machine shop to get them oversized, cleaned up so that I can resell them and see if I can make some money. Now, this is the first one. This is the 115 Johnson. Okay. This cylinder seized up on it. So the seizing of the cylinder is a symptom, and we have to find out why, because we can't just rebuild this engine until such time as we know why, or it's just going to happen again. So this is the piston. Okay, so I ended up breaking the skirt because I needed to be able to get this pin out, because shortly I'll tell you why that had to come out. Okay, so we can see that it's in pretty rough shape. We don't really see anything going on with the top. We don't see any breaking away around the outside. So detonation is likely not an issue. So we've eliminated that. I'll go ahead and tell you guys that I went through the carburetor. The carburetor is fine. I would have shown that to you, but it's pretty straightforward. The jets are the jets. There's holes in the jets. They're clean. That's not what happened. So the next step was, while it was apart, to take a look at some things. And what I noticed was these needle bearings go inside here, okay? And there was a space that was sitting inside them, almost like one was missing. So I disassembled the piston and I took all the bearings out and I counted them, and there was 28, which is the correct number. But the reason the gap existed was they were so worn down, or they were either worn down or the piston pin was so worn down, they created that gap. So we know that lubrication was not getting here, nor was it getting here, but lubrication was getting to this point. So although it's not in great shape, it fared much better than this side. So you can even see the discoloration, the blue here. So this got really hot on this end. So I continued looking. What would cause this? We know that adequate air fuel mixture was getting here, or lubrication was getting here, but it wasn't getting up here. So the next step was to trace and look at this. So this is the end cap. All of these have seals on them, and they were all in place. The seals themselves are in place and the springs are intact. But if we look at the crank, we see oil right there. We shouldn't have oil right there. So that is this oil here that we see here has been slipping past those seals. Okay, so that was part of the problem. Okay. Or might have been the whole problem, but I kept looking. These large rings, you see them here, are to separate the cylinders so that they become a separate entity inside the engine. This one, okay, is really wet on the opposite side. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, it's wet. It's wet on this side, over here, this way. It's dry that way, but wet this way. So that means that the air fuel mixture, again, was escaping past here, through here, and out. Now these are supposed to seal really tight, and of course, lock off the cylinders so that we don't have any crankcase pressure leaking. So, I'm kind of stuck. Okay, now hear me out. There's a lot of wear that's on here, and a lot of aluminum has been torn off and moved around to different places in the engine. Okay, one of the places was down into here. So we can see that this was all black. I've since wiped it, but it was black, right? If we look at the other ones, they're fairly clean in comparison. Oh, sorry, this way, they're clean in comparison, right? So this is where all the damage was taking place. So I wonder if, as the piston was getting hot due to being lean, that some of the aluminum moved into here, opened this up more, and then allowed for more crankcase pressure to be lost here, exasperating the rate of decline of the engine. Okay, I'm thinking that's what happened. I'm thinking the main reason that this engine died was these seals were no longer sealing. I believe that that's what happened. But we have some side stuff that was going on as well that I'm trying to explain, because again, I can't put this engine back together until such time as I know that that's what's happened. So if anyone out there has any other ideas, let me know. So not in great shape, but these were still oily when I took them out. This was a dry mess. There was no oil there. That's how hot this piston was getting. All the skirt was in place. As you see, the piston here right now is how it looked all the way around. It held up for as long as it can. I don't know if it's going to be another clue, but there was zero compression. What I can't determine, because the piston is in this kind of shape, is if it started on the exhaust side. I can't determine that. I don't think it did. I think this is just a single, like I said, issue where this seal let go. The cylinder ran lean. It probably would start on the exhaust side because that is the hottest, but this piston would have got hot enough to expand to the size of the cylinder and then started pilling everywhere and just got worse and worse and worse. Do I think this was a single trip that caused this? No, I think this was something that was happening over time. So what I'm gonna do is machine shop, bore it out, new pistons and rings, replace this rod, throw new bearings into it, replace the seals because they come in a gasket set anyway. All the O-rings and stuff will get done, and put it back together, and I will likely disconnect the VRO and run it as a premix engine, and it'll be sold. Unfortunately, this little guy is going to cost me more than the other ones. Well, as far as I know, the other ones will, because of the damage it sustained. I'm also happy though that the crown of the piston up top here isn't damaged, so that means that the head is in good shape. It didn't get all smashed up. Here's the other pistons if you guys want to look. They won't be reused. They're going to be thrown in the garbage. But, they're in decent shape. I don't see, well, we got a little bit of scuffing here on the exhaust side. So, that's a sign maybe we were getting hot. That's probably going to be number 3, I would think. And this one, this one was fine-ish. So again, exhaust issues here. So definitely doesn't look like water was getting in here, so we can't blame water. We're going to say that there was lack of lubrication down in number 4, again caused by that seal going out. Anyway, that's my video. I've got, what have I got? I got more that got to come apart, and I'll let you guys follow along with how those go. And yeah, keep an eye out for them. Keep an eye on the shorts, because the shorts are where all of this starts, and then I move into the long video at the end. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, it's cranky.